In the headlines, the Calypso Association not happy about being left out of the 2016 World Creole Music Festival, which will feature Grammy Award winners who were on previous lineups. Hundreds of thousands of dollars being invested in road projects in the Maho constituency, and the state loses a case against senior police officer Philbert Bertrand after court upholds no case submission. I am Andrea Louis with the Channel 5 News, back with the details after this. Thank you for staying with us. We begin with 2 Grammy Award winners and an American R&B artist who are among the foreign acts for the 19th World Creole Music Festival.
3-time Grammy Award-winning artist Wyclef Jean and Morgan Heritage, the winner of this year's Grammy Award for Best Reggae Album, are on the lineup of this year's World Creole Music Festival. This will not be the first time both Wyclef and the Jamaican band will perform here. Wyclef first performed on Island in 2006 as a headline act for the 10th WCMF. Morgan Heritage's most recent gig here was in 2014 for a Labour Party election campaign concert. They've been on the WCMF stage at least 3 times. Akon, an American singer and rapper of African descent, is also on the lineup. He's been dubbed the world's best-selling African artist 3 times. Timaya, who's well known for his 2013 Nigerian pop track Uku, is on as well. Hot on the Jamaican dancehall scene right now is Popcan, and he is one of the top acts for Friday night. The festival will feature German reggae musician Gentleman, Trinidad's Kes the Band, and Mr. Killer of Grenada will bring the soca touch. And on the Zouk scene, it will be the Grand Merchant Zouk of the French Antilles. In Compa, there's Creola of Haiti, Didi Saint-Prix of Martinique, and Haitian Timiki. The local acts include Midnight Groovers, Ecstasy Band, Original Bouillon Pioneers, WCK, Triple K International, Asa Bantan, Breve, Mikel Henderson, and Ophelia Marie. Tourism Minister Robert Tong announced at Wednesday's night's launch of the Music Fest that government has increased its subvention to the WCMF.
Traditionally, the Discover Dominic Authority gets a subvention of $780,000. But we knew that this year the show had to be bigger, better, and a lot more exciting. We wanted to have much better artists so that when you heard the lineup, you would no longer decide which day you're going to come. You'd have to be forced to buy a season ticket. So the government of Dominica has approved an additional $1 million to ensure that the vision of this event is brought to fruition. This is a significant improvement in the financing of the festival and will allow for better and timelier organization of the activity, as well as provide more effective negotiation with the artists when preparing for the lineup.
No word yet on the cost of festival. A ticket per night in the past was $120 EC, while a season ticket went for $325. Ticket costs should be announced in the next few weeks, the DFC director informed Channel 5 News. Come next week, the event will be launched in the French West Indies. Most of the overseas visitors to the event come from that part of the region. CMF is set for October 28 to 30. Idona Jean-Baptiste, Channel 5 News.
In related news, Calypso is not represented on the World Creole Music Festival lineup this year, and the Calypso Association has raised its displeasure with the decision. Public Relations Officer of the Dominica Calypso Association, Davidson Observer Victor, told Channel 5 News that the association has had an issue with the event organizers over the treatment of Calypsonians in the past.
Calypso need to get its rightful place on the Dominica Creole Festival. We need to do that. If we say we love Calypso, we can't love it so much, and when it comes for us to promote it, we always put it on a side. We have good Calypsonians, we have mega hits. I mean, this year was one of the good years in Calypso that we had a lot of mega hits. Mega hits. Why we cannot take the King Dice, who is the record-breaking 8 times Calypso King, and put Dice among any of the acts that they have there?
What do you say to those who argue that Calypso is best suited for the carnival season?
Calypso is not something for one time. If you look at the messages that in Calypso have messages that deals with social, political, and other issues.
Victor says it is the general view of the rest of the executive of the association that Calypso has been sidelined on the World Creole Music Festival.
My disgust not only come as a result of this year, but my disgust come as a result of years in the making. During the carnival season, we cannot have enough of Calypso. We claim that Calypso, without carnival, there's no carnival. That's how big Calypso is. Calypso on its own, without any foreign artists on a Calypso final night, is good enough to bring in 5,000+ people into the park. And Calypso, when come for the Creole festival, is not good enough to at least get an hour or an hour and a half. When Calypso get a chance to be on the festival, you find the Calypsonians are squeezed into a little space of time that they have to be rushing out. If not that, they would put Calypso during intermission time. When people go in and get their drinks, that time they put in Calypso.
Is it an intention to take this up with the relevant parties, the relevant authorities?
Well, yes, because I think a letter should be written to the powers that be in terms of the people who select in the bands and who are responsible for putting the lineup and so on, to express our concern.
There is an artist selection committee headed by Leroy Waddox Charles responsible for arranging the lineup. An online survey by the Dominica Festivals Committee was opened earlier this year, seeking the public's feedback on performers they would like to see at the event. Individuals had the opportunity of suggesting 3 artists of their choice. On to tourism now. Despite a smaller number of tourists in the 2015-2016 cruise ship season, the Combined Taxi Association is reporting an increase in profits for that period.
The cruise ship season runs from October to April, and last season a total of 174 cruise calls were projected for Dominica. This translates to approximately 290,000 passengers. President of the Combined Taxi Association says while the number of passengers was smaller, the tourists were more willing to spend while in Dominica.
When we look at the numbers of the accounting records, we have carried less persons, but we have made more money. And because I found that the persons had more buying power now than the last season. Though you had more persons, I think the crisis affected persons more a year ago or 2 years ago than last season. I found the persons were willing to accept the prices that were given to them by the taxi driver and did less bargaining. So that was one of the factors why we were able to carry a few less persons but make more money combined.
Gist says there are lessons to be learned from the previous cruise ship season. He hopes to see various measures taken ahead of the 2016-2017 cruise season.
Going forward, we believe there are a few things that need to be done. Like we need to get the vagrants out of the streets of Roseau. We need to have better parking and less congestion, especially when a ship is in port at Fonkole. And we also have a problem in Roseau on Victoria Street all the way back into Newtown. You have a heavy traffic jam because drivers are not able to access the bayfront. When at 7:45, 20 to 8, that's when buses are going in. So we believe that if the buses can get in for organized tours at 7 o'clock in the morning, it means it would ease up the congestion of traffic. Because we want to know that we can enjoy the cruise ship season, but the Dominicans can also enjoy their country.
The Ministry of Education wrapped up a series of child-friendly schools workshops on Thursday. The child-friendly workshops were held in collaboration with the UNICEF Eastern Caribbean Office. The final workshop targeted media practitioners in Dominica.
Indeed, I believe you have a significant role in strengthening institutions and entire societies through the work you do by bringing the issue to the fore. Media practitioners, you are here because we are convinced that your role in ensuring that our children are protected, safe, and successful is paramount. The objective of this workshop, therefore, is to raise your awareness on issues related to child-friendly, effective schools, including the issue of child protection, and to define your role in that process.
Communication for Development Specialist with the UNICEF Office for the Eastern Caribbean area was one of the featured presenters at the workshop.
One of the key roles that you have to play is in dispelling myths about the child-friendly schools framework, or the effective schools framework as we call it as well. Also about informing the public and the parents about what is happening in our schools, the good things that are doing. And then the other, you may also at some point have to cover issues concerning children in schools. So the question is, I think, which we will look at today, how does your coverage enhance or maybe undo a lot of the work that they're trying to achieve through the implementation of the child-friendly school program?
Past workshops have been held with sports teachers, bus drivers, and members of different religious denominations.
While we have been working very hard on promoting the principles and practices of child-friendly effective schools within the school plant, we are also embarking on this public outreach to not only provide the public with information on how they can support our schools, but also to hear from you on how we can improve on what we do to ensure that our students are succeeding. We expect to spend some time examining child protection issues, media coverage, and ethical guidelines for covering those issues, and ways in which the media can help champion the child-friendly effective schools initiative.
In court news now, the state has lost a major matter against a senior police officer who was charged with causing grievous bodily harm with intent to curb cholera.
Magistrate Ali Gill upheld a no-case submission put forward by Defense Counsel Gildon Richards for Sergeant Philbert Bertrand. Sergeant Bertrand was arrested for the November 2013 shooting of Kervin Collier at Palm Tree in Wesley. Collier was shot after he attacked the police with a cutlass. He was charged by the police for being armed with an offensive weapon and convicted. Richards put forward a no-case submission because the prosecution failed to prove a prima facie case against his client. 7 of the prosecution's 13 witnesses were cross-examined by the defense after the prosecution informed the court that they intended to proceed via paper committal. After listening to submissions by the prosecution, Magistrate Gill upheld the no-case submission, stating that the case was riddled with inconsistencies, lies, mischief, and innuendo. Since his arrest, Sergeant Bertrand has been placed on half-pay leave by the Police Service Commission.
Coming up, we continue a tour of road projects in the Maho constituency. Welcome back. Close to $80,000 to be spent on the completion of the Warner Link Road.
The funds have been approved and is already in the possession of the Maho Village Council, as there is no village council in Warner. On Wednesday, MP Reuben Blackmore went on a tour of the areas in the constituency that are in dire need of road repairs.
Already identify a local contractor from Warner to ensure that that link road is done once and for all. As I speak with you, in a place they call Corey's Rest, that's a place they call Shimikowe, and a place I know very well. As a little boy growing up, we used to go to First Pasai and take our early morning bath before we went to school, etc. And of course, when Erica struck, actually a section of that road was washed away, and as a consequence, you do not have access to vehicular traffic. And it's very difficult for persons to traverse by way of vehicles. It's impossible, therefore. So we're spending $399,000 in that area to construct a box culvert, a 30-meter returning river wall, and to do some improvement into the river in terms of treading the river or dredging the river in that area. So we're actually on our way to ensuring that some tremendous work has been done in the constituency.
Meantime, Blackmore says a $200,000 contract has been approved for works on the road entering Campbell. They focus there will be a section of the road which was already undermined and further deteriorated due to Tropical Storm Erica.
We have to ensure that the people of Campbell are taken care of. These are wonderful people. And, you know, Campbell has been identified as a critical area. And we are now dealing with PD7 and Dubic. And we have to ensure that we get it right in Campbell. But the people are still there, so we have to make sure that we try to stabilize certain sections of the road. So as I speak with you, all those swings have been approved, contracts have been awarded, and in large measures, most of the works have actually started. By next week, the work should start on that section of road leading to Campbell. The contractor is already proceeding to do his farm work and his steel work, and next week you will see physical start on the site itself in Campbell.
In Wednesday's newscast, we told you of the road interventions taking place in Formager in Massac. Mr. Blackmore says he also has plans of acquiring a parcel of land in Formager to create a park for the people of that area.
Meantime, 11 young people have found gainful employment on one of the road projects in the Maho area. This project is situated in an area called Monscope. The contractor on that project is also from Pikati in Maho. Mr. Blackmore says this project holds a special significance for him.
And this area where the road is currently being built now, was a cricket pitch. And that's where folks like Mervyn Thomas, who went on to play for Dominica and the Windward Islands, actually learned how to play cricket, including myself. We used to have some real big games there, and there was absolutely not one house in that area. Now, with the element of time, you have seen the area has emerged and people have built houses. And what we had there was a mud road, so to speak. So what I'm trying to do is to give some value to the people's life in that area. They have built their homes, they have acquired parcels of lots to build the homes, and it was impossible to have vehicular traffic coming up to that area. So persons, of course, would have gone to buy the groceries, etc., and they would have to have walked from the main road up to that area.
Proper drainage will accompany the new road.
It's a long-term issue like that, and you're able to fix it for us, and I'm so happy the road is fixing, and we have some workers with us, and the work is moving all right.
More on the road projects in the Maho constituency in our next newscast. A lot has changed since the first case of HIV was identified in Dominica in 1987. Since then, we've recorded 448 confirmed cases between 1987 and 2015, and out of that number, 154 have died.
There are currently 294 people living with HIV and AIDS in Dominica. It used to be viewed as a death sentence, but experts now tell us HIV is manageable like any other chronic illness. Funding for HIV treatment has also undergone some changes over the years. Developing countries used to benefit from funding from organizations such as the Clinton Foundation, but these sources of funding have dried up or transferred to other parts of the world. Dominica has also seen change in the way treatment for HIV and AIDS is funded. Government currently pays for the HIV test and provides free HIV treatment for those affected. That issue formed part of a discussion on MarpinNewsJune Channel 5 this week in anticipation of Regional Testing Day on Friday, June 24.
When HIV was first identified and it was recognized as a developmental issue for the entire world, Global Fund came on board and they were very supportive and provided external funding. But like we all know, right across the world, external funding in any region is quickly dwindling. It's getting less and less. And so I think also it becomes important for countries and regions to own the management of certain conditions. And so on account of this, you find that they are now saying that, you know, sustainability, we need to show ownership and that kind of thing. So the funding is a lot less. And so the government has to fund a lot of the HIV management. And yes, for the testing, it is free in our healthcare service in the public health system. And so yes, government meets the cost of that.
HIV and AIDS continues to target the most productive age groups of 25 to 49-year-olds. 70% of those affected by AIDS are men.
Some of the things that may indicate that is because of the behavior. Some, like you have some men having several sexual partners, so that for them is already a risk, and they may not be using condoms with all of their partners. And of course, we also have men who are bisexual and men who are homosexual, or men who may not consider themselves bisexual or homosexual, but they may be having sex with men as well. So all of these things could be factors putting them at risk.
Men also make up the greater percentage of AIDS-related deaths.
One of the major factors pushing this is that generally men tend to have poor health-seeking behaviors, and so by the time they get tested, they are no longer HIV positive, they've already transitioned to AIDS. And so you find that you have higher numbers of AIDS-related deaths among the men being diagnosed.
The theme for this year's Regional Testing Day is Stop Ducking It.
And Dominica's recipient of the Queen's Young Leaders Program Award wants to see the Victim Support Program of Lifeline Ministries extended to the rural communities in order to be fully effective.
Coordinator of the program, Tina Alfred, who has been involved with the Victim Support Program since its inception 2 years ago, says an expanded program would help more victims and bring about a notable reduction in incidents of gender-based violence.
Definitely, we want to see it go on to the rural communities. We want to involve persons from the rural communities because we are only settled in Roseau, which we are catering for persons from Roseau, around Roseau, and we don't have enough resources and funding to actually go out to the rural communities. So in the near future, we definitely want to seek funding to get the necessary resources so that we can go to the rural communities, because as we know that the rural communities are much more vulnerable.
Alfred says in the program's 2-year history, numerous young people overcome the effects of different types of abuse and are now advocates for the program.
We work with teens who have been abused, gender-based violence. We motivate them, we mentor them, and we empower them. Okay, well, we definitely see that mentees or individuals who have been abused have become successful. They have become mentors as well. They are even able to advocate on sexual abuse and gender-based violence. So we see that the level of advocacy has grown. Persons are more aware of sexual abuse, and persons are doing stuff right now to eradicate.
Alfred is being recognized for her work with the Victim Support Program through the Queen's Young Leaders Award Initiative, with an official ceremony on Thursday, the 23rd of June.
That's news coming up. Cody Morris has a tough first time at the Pan American Senior Fencing Championships. That and more with your sports highlights with Kenny Williams next.
First up in sports, Cody Morris played his debut match at the Pan American Senior Fencing Championships, where he competed against regional and international counterparts. Channel 5 Sports spoke with President of Dominica Fencing Association, Woody Lawrence, who said it was a tough match, but Cody did well for his first time. Cody lost his bouts 5-2, 5-2, 5-1, 5-0, 5-1 and 5-2. The debut international fencer finished 7th in his pool and fenced against the world's number 52. Morris has been fencing for 3 years but never had the opportunity to compete outside of Dominica. Lawrence said the experience gained in the first match will serve as an impetus for Morris's next match. Cody is set to play on Friday. In basketball, there were wins for Police Sports Club and the Elijah Chambers Thunderers in the 2016 Flow DABA League on Wednesday. In Game 1, Police Sports Club ended their game with a lead of 19 points to defeat Keldaru Hurricanes 55-56. Meantime, in the second game, Elijah Chambers Thunderers edged out Jays Limited Sonics 58-55. However, the Sonics team protested, claiming that a suspended Thunderers player took part in that match. The DABA will look into the matter. Basketball action continues at Massac on Friday when the Division 1 teams, Fashion Line Falcons and Police Sports Club, get things going from 7 to be followed by Kelvadaru Hurricanes versus LA Knights at 9. Moving on to cricket, West Indies will be looking to win a crucial match against South Africa to secure a spot in the finals of the Tri-Nation Series on Friday. The Windies have 2 wins and 3 losses so far and need another win to qualify for the final carded for June 26. Meantime, the sports division will be having its district competition on Friday. The Southwest and West Central districts will compete at Botanic Gardens, South and West Zone at Dublin, North and East at Benjamin's Park, and Southeast and Northeast at Jolly John's. The competition is carded for 1 p.m. In female sport in action, third place in the 2016 Sports Division Swiss Embassy Division 2 Netball Festival will be up for grabs when 2 schools go head-to-head in Portsmouth on Friday. The Siniku and Tetmon primary schools failed to make it to the final round, but will battle for bronze. The competition begins at 3 p.m. Finally, in sports, the 2016 Fast Cash Harlem Football League kicks off with 1 match on Friday. 767 Young Ballers will take on Rosalie Bay Resort Charlotte Villas at 7 p.m. That's all the sports for now. I am Kenny Williams. Join us again next time.
Good evening, Dominica, and welcome to tonight's weather broadcast. I'm your presenter, Marshall Alexander. We begin by taking a look at earlier infrared satellite imagery and what it showed. A relatively dry atmosphere across Dominica today. However, this area of convection moving westwards associated with an approaching tropical wave. Now, taking a look at earlier visible satellite imagery and what it showed. A few low-level clouds which moved across Dominica today, and this resulted in fair to partly cloudy skies. Also, this area of multi-layered clouds associated with the tropical wave which I mentioned earlier. Now, taking a look at earlier radar imagery, what it indicated, a few scattered showers mainly across the southern portion of the island chain. Tonight's weather is expected to be fair to partly cloudy and breezy with a few brief scattered showers, becoming increasingly cloudy and breezy with scattered showers by tomorrow. Sea conditions are expected to be moderate in open water with waves peaking near 7 feet. Small craft operators and sea beavers, you're advised to exercise some caution. Conditions for the next 3 days: mostly cloudy skies with a few scattered showers can be expected tomorrow due to the approaching tropical wave. However, Saturday and Sunday we can expect partly cloudy skies with a few brief scattered showers. Also, a reduction in wind speeds will be evident as we move into Sunday. For the rest of the Caribbean tomorrow, partly cloudy to cloudy skies can be expected across the northern and central portion of the region, with an increasing cloudiness, scattered showers and thunderstorm activity expected across the extreme southern portion of the island chain. Our international cities forecast: clear skies can be expected in New York, thunderstorm activity expected in Miami and Caracas, some rain expected in London, and clear skies expected in Beijing, with temperatures up to 36 degrees Celsius. Sunrise tomorrow will be at 5:36 a.m. and sunset will be at 6:49 p.m. For more information, you can call the weather hotline at 447-5555 or visit our website at weather.gov.dm. Thanks for viewing. Have a good night.
To end the news, the headlines again. The Calypso Association not happy about being left out of the 2016 World Creole Music Festival, which will feature Grammy Award winners who were on previous lineups. Hundreds of thousands of dollars being invested in road projects in the Maho constituency. And the state loses a case against a senior police officer, Philbert Bertrand, after court upholds no case submission. Feel free to contact us at news@marpin2k4.com. You can also access our past newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the production team, I'm Andrea Lee, and to all our viewers around the world, thank you for watching. Join us tomorrow.